Hey everyone, it's Jason, and welcome back to another episode of Martial Arts Theater 3000. This here today is going to be like the Venom Mob Countdown, but I'll be doing things a little bit differently. I'll be doing movie reviews, but they're not going to be ranked until I finish the different series. So, for instance, today this is going to be part of the Bruce Lee Countdown, but I'm not going to give it a ranking until I go deeper into it and finish all of them, and then I'm going to compile them all in one big video at the end. And the main reason for this is there is some Bruce Lee films I've not seen, and when I get to T. Lung and David Chang and start reviewing those, which I'll be sprinkling them in between, it's not going to just be one theme going forward at a time. But like I said, since I've not seen every film in all these series, I don't want to start ranking until I've seen every one, and this way we can keep going without taking long breaks to watch a full filmography. So without any further ado, the movie we're going to be reviewing today is Bruce Lee's The Chinese Stuntman. Now this is a 1982 film, and it's interesting for a lot of reasons. Bruce Lee directed this movie, and it's autobiographical in the way that Bruce Lee, he started out doing a lot of Bruce Lee biopics, and then of course as the Bruceploitation genre grew and grew, the industry just kept pushing him to do more Bruceploitation films. And Bruce Lee didn't want to be Bruce on film anymore. And according to interviews with him, the different directors and producers, they pressured him so much at one point they held a knife up to his throat and said, "You got to do this movie." So Bruce Lee, with The Chinese Stuntman, this was his answer back to the industry. He was done. This is pretty much his swan song. I think he did one or maybe two other movies after this, but this is pretty much, I'd call, the bookend of it all. And it is just a great film, and Bruce Lee, you get to see a different side to him, and this is like, I'd say, him truly being himself in this film. I love the opening of this movie. It has such an hysterical opening scene. This guy comes into their school just raising hell and wanting to challenge someone or be challenged himself, and he's beating up different guys, and suddenly Bruce Lee comes into the frame, grabs his wrist, and it goes into the opening credits, and it just has that grindhouse, awesome Bruceploitation feel to it all. And because Bruce Lee beat this guy, he actually follows him around and becomes Bruce Lee's student, so there's a nice camaraderie story there. And while that's going on, Bruce Lee's trying to become an insurance salesman. He's going around door to door, getting doors shut in his face. And I think it's just great. It's nice and lighthearted at the beginning. Bruce Lee is such a good actor with lots of charisma. And it's great to see him walk around Hong Kong and to be able to see what Hong Kong looked like in the early 80s. I just love the vibe and the aesthetic of it all. And while he's trying to sell his insurance to this kung fu school, a fight breaks out. So you get some nice fights in the beginning in his school and then in these other schools around town. And you have these various fights in the beginning. And although it's pretty intense at times, the movie has overall a lighthearted feeling at this point. So while trying to sell this insurance to this famous kung fu actor who's played by Lung Zima, the two of them actually get into a fight, which is a great fight scene in this film. And because Bruce Lee gives him such a good challenge, they become friends. And this friendship between Lung and Bruce Lee is what actually leads Bruce Lee into the movie industry. He starts as just being on the set, and then he shows his stunt work a little bit, and that's what eventually leads to him becoming the stuntman for Lung. And while all of this is going on, Bruce Lee's boss at the insurance agency has this insidious plan. He's actually taking out life insurance on Lung and trying to get him killed. But Bruce Lee kind of throws a monkey wrench into all of that because he becomes the stuntman, and therefore it's harder for them to stage an accident or, set him up to get killed because he's actually sitting back now while Bruce Lee becomes the stuntman. And I won't give away too many more spoilers, but let's just say there's a lot of traitors, and the stuntmen are actually turning on Bruce Lee because they're mad that he upended their plan. You never know who's out to kill or try to kill the next guy, and I think this was Bruce Lee's plan all along to show the dark side of the Hong Kong film industry through Bruce Lee's point of view based on his experiences and the horrible time he said he had behind the scenes. Even though it wasn't stunt work, his was being forced into being Bruce when he just wanted to branch out and be his own actor. So for the plot and acting on this one, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. It's really solid. I love that Bruce Lee made it so autobiographical. The The characters are all very interesting, and Bruce Lee, as always, is so charismatic on film. For the action and fighting, I'm going to give this one an 8.5 out of 10. There is a lot of great fights. You got some different styles going on. It's interesting, as they do more stunt work in this movie. Bruce Lee is doing various stunts, some pretty impressive ones at that. Once it gets to the final fight scene, it is just crazy, flying through the walls like the Kool-Aid Man. It's a really great fight scene, and the last shot is the two of them flying off this balcony, a la almost Jackie Chan in Project A. I mean, they're flying head first, and it's a pretty impressive shot. And another highlight of this movie for me is the fact they brought in Dan Inosanto, but I do think he's a bit underutilized. He's always just kind of hanging around in the background. But I love his attitude in this. He's like the ultimate badass. And when there is the fight and the showdown, when he gets to display his Filipino stick fighting, it's excellent. And when him and Bruce Lee finally square off, that's probably my favorite moment in the whole movie. So I definitely recommend checking out The Chinese Stuntman. It's in that top 5 range because it's such a great performance from Bruce Lee. He's really at the top of his game. His directing is on point. I wish we could have seen him go on to direct some more films. There's a lot of potential there. And the movie does slow down a bit when they're just talking about the different insurance plans, like in the middle of the film. But there's always a great fight scene around the bend, and the fights definitely have a different feel to all of them. It's not just like the same type of fight over and over. So for ways to watch on this one, it is slim pickings at the moment. I do think it's on Tubi currently, and there is a version on YouTube. It's pretty rough, it's definitely sourced off of VHS. You can see tracking at different points. So I can't wait to see if this one will get a proper Blu-ray release sometime soon, hopefully. So if you haven't seen it yet, go and check out The Chinese Stuntman and let me know down in the comments what you guys thought of this one, and I'll catch you guys next time.